The idea for this exhibition really has been percolating in my mind for about 7 years, and it began initially with an exhibition that took place at the Whitney Museum of American Art, where I worked previously, which included a piece by Yves Sussman, one of the artists represented in this show. And based on that piece and the fact that it addressed time in a way that I thought was both extraordinary and arresting, I started thinking of what other artists might possibly be represented in an exhibition if we wanted to talk about the way that contemporary art, particularly photography and film, address notions of time and duration. One of the things that makes the exhibition unique is that a lot of the works take shape over time. So they evolve over the course of the installation. And so to be a visitor and to really say that you've seen the exhibition, you have to devote a great deal of time to be able to see all of the works and the way that they evolve over time. That can mean 4 minutes, or it can sometimes mean over an hour, depending on the work of art that's here. And even those works that don't ostensibly change, such as the two-dimensional photographs that are on display, deal with the question of time and duration in a way that's very subtle, and that requires a deeper understanding and a more contemplative type of arrangement between the viewer and the work of art. So they too demand a prolonged and more sustained engagement from the viewer. I think in the case of Chris McCaw, one of the things that's so striking is that the artist has really stripped photography down to its bare essentials, and yet the result is so arresting and so powerful and so unusual. And until you really spend time looking at the work, you don't even necessarily realize that you're looking at a photograph. It really bears resemblance to abstract expressionist painting or minimalist design.
Basically what I'm doing is doing these long time exposures of the sun. I mean, moving through the sky. I mean, actually we're spinning and the sun appears to be moving across the sky. And I'm taking the principle of, a magnifying glass. When you were a little kid, you'd focus the sun onto a dry leaf and that would start the leaf to burn. And I'm taking that idea of ignition and kind of taking it to the camera and inside the camera, and what I'm photographing, the sun, is coming through the lens and physically helping to create and destroy the piece at the same time.
Well, one of the goals, of course, is that when they come and they walk through the galleries and hopefully sit down and look at the work over a sustained period of time, they'll start to understand that the question of time is both a very important topic of contemporary art, but also the way that it's being treated by filmmakers and photographers is unique within the scope of contemporary art. So hopefully they'll see the connections between the works, but also see the distinguishing ways in which each artist approaches the subject matter uniquely. So one of the aspects that really connects the work of the 7 artists in this exhibition is that they're all, in a way, nostalgic. They're looking at the history of their medium, whether it's film or photography, and many times co-opting and introducing and appropriating qualities of the past in their very contemporary work. One of my personal favorites in the exhibition is David Clairbout's Roerlo, which is essentially a postcard, an early 20th century postcard of a Belgian town. And it's a postcard that he animates very subtly. David Clairbout thinks about what aspects of those that were captured in the photographic image are still alive today. Certainly the individuals in that postcard have perished. The town has changed radically. But the giant tree that's in the foreground of the photograph is something that may persist to this day. And so if you spend time looking at the work, you'll find that the leaves of the tree rustle ever so slightly with the wind. And that's, I think, a very beautiful, very poetic way of contemplating the subject matter of the exhibition as a whole. That time is both fleeting, and yet it's the one thing that persists. The forward motion of time is the one element that continues, whether we want it to or not.